One Watch. This is my open spoiler discussion for Chapter 1 of Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett. And if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and click on that bell so you can notify future videos. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, after watching the first chapter of the Book of Boba Fett, I gotta say, it was pretty damn good. Now, my main bitch is going to be the runtime, because we only got 39 minutes for this episode, and after you minus out the 5 minutes worth of credits, we're only left with 34 minutes worth of story time, right? I mean, I'm not completely shocked, because both seasons of The Mandalorian had various runtimes, so I kind of expected it, but I was hoping that we would have got at least an hour for the first episode to kind of really set this thing up, because as far as I understand it, there's only going to be 7 episodes. So I'm hoping they're not all going to be like this, to be quite honest with you. I'm hoping they're going to maybe have some of them going to be a little bit longer. I mean, just a little bit. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. Now, Robert Rodriguez gets the honor of kicking this series off, and I think he did a pretty damn good job. I mean, I've been seeing and hearing people bitch about the lack of action in this episode. I mean, I thought there was a couple good action scenes. I mean, the fight in Mos Espa was kind of cool as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he was ruthless by when he shot that missile off and killed that one dude, right? I mean, I thought that was kind of cool. And like them running over the roof, that parkour or whatever type thing that they had going on. It looked more like a video game than anything else, but there were some people kind of bitching saying that went on too long. I didn't really think so. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was actually kind of cool. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and Mos Espa seems to be a lot bigger than I remember from the Phantom Menace, or maybe they only showed us like a little snippet of it, right? I mean, because that place was huge. When they show that wide shot of it in this one, I'm like, wow, that's Mos Espa? Really? I mean, I didn't realize it was that huge. I mean, when we seen like the wide shot of Mos Eisley in episode 4, it did not look anywhere near that big. But considering it seemed like it was pretty close to Jabba's palace, it kind of makes a lot of sense. It was like the biggest settlement on Tatooine. It was probably his capital city on Tatooine. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Now, at the beginning of this episode, they wasted no time. I mean, we're back at Jabba's palace, and we see the Bantha tank that Boba Fett was in the trailer. Now, it appears when he's in the Bantha tank, at least going by the first episode, that when he is, that's when he has a flashback. Because like the first flashback that we get, we see he remembers Camino. He's remembering picking up his dead father's helmet at the Battle of Geonosis, which I thought was pretty damn cool that they brought that stuff into this and kind of tied it all together. I thought that was really cool. And then we finally got to see how he got out of the Sarlacc. Now, I wonder how long that stormtrooper's been down in there, right? Now, I know in Return to the Jedi, 3PO said to be slowly digested over 1,000 years, but I just kind of wonder how long that guy's been down there, right? I mean, I thought that was pretty funny when I saw that, and then actually it kind of worked out to Boba Fett's advantage, right? But I had to say, when they showed him digging his way out of the Sarlacc pit in the sand, it kind of reminded me of a fan-made movie I saw of Boba Fett getting out of the Sarlacc pit a couple years ago on YouTube. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Speaking of which, I'm kind of hoping at the end of this thing they do another episode of the Disney Gallery series to show us the behind the scenes and how they actually made this thing, which I'll bet you that's what they're probably going to do. And I can't wait to see it, because I want to know how many action figures did they use in the plotting of this series. Now, after Boba gets out of the Sarlacc pit, he pretty much passes out in the sand from exhaustion. And when nighttime comes, the Jawas show up and they pretty much take all his stuff. Now, this is how they explain how Cobb Vanth got a hold of his armor. Now, it's basically the same story that they used in the Aftermath books, that he pretty much got the armor from the Jawas, but they didn't say exactly how the Jawas got the armor. Now we know, right? Because now this is canon. So I thought that was actually kind of cool that they did that. Now I wonder if we're going to see the Jawas again in this series as he tracks down where his armor's at. And if that's the case, I wonder if we're actually going to see Cobb Vanth make an appearance in this series. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Now I'm wondering if that one Tusken Raider that he fights when he tries to escape, that pretty much like beats his ass like with no issues whatsoever, if they become friends and he ends up starting to learn like some of his like moves and whatnot, or her moves, because we don't actually know if it's a male or female yet, right? But wouldn't it be kind of cool if they actually leaned into that a little bit and like they kind of show that they become friends and he starts learning like some of like the stuff that they do? Because we see him like use like that kind of like fighting style in The Mandalorian season 2. So I wonder if like this is how he learns that stuff. You know what I mean? Now, like I said earlier, people were bitching about the lack of action in this thing. But I think, again, there's a lot more going on here than just plain action, right? Because like that bar owner stuff like that, with it being played by Jennifer Beal from the Flashdance movie and everything, there's a lot more going on with her. Now, she gave him all that money, but then shortly after he leaves here, all them parkour guys show up and they try to take that money. So I wonder if whether or not she's the one who sent them to take back the money, right? I mean, because there's more going on in Mos Espa than we actually know, because I think we're going to get a lot more stuff going on with the mayor, right? Hopefully that's going to be next week's episode where we actually get to meet the mayor, that Arthurian hammerhead dude. I mean, we've seen it in the trailer. We know he's going to go there. So I wonder if that's going to be next week, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now, after the Mos Espa fight, Boba Fett has to go back into the Bantha tank. Now, when he does, this is when we get our second round of flashbacks. Now, in this flashback, we get to see a different side of the Tusken Raider village that we never got to see before. Because the last time we were actually in a Tusken Raider village, it was in episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And it did not go well for all the Tusken Raiders in that village. You know what I'm saying? And if you ever had the chance to actually read the novel for Attack of the Clones, man, that scene in that book is way, way more brutal than what we saw on screen. I kind of wish they would actually put some of that on screen, but I can understand why, because I think that'd be kind of hard for kids to see. Because again, if you ever get a chance to read that section, I highly recommend. Now, I thought it was kind of interesting when the Tusken Raider kid takes Boba Fett and the Guido Logan type dude out on that trek across the desert to look for those little balls of water. What's up with that? I don't understand. I guess they look like little spuds of cactus or something like that. I mean, I didn't know that was out there. So, I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense because there's water in cactus, right? So I guess that makes a lot of sense if you really stop and think about it. But I thought it was kind of interesting when they went to that homestead and we see this swoop biker gang like stealing like their water and everything. I thought that was kind of interesting. They're leaving like the graffiti on the side of the wall to say like, we were here basically. And I wondered, did they actually kill that dude? I mean, he was down on the ground, but I don't know if he was dead. You think they killed that guy? Because we see in the trailer, we see them again. So I wonder if like Boba Fett's going to actually use them to get away from the Tusken Raiders. So I don't know. Have to wait and see how that all plays out. And as far as like no action goes, that one scene with that monster that came out of the sand. At first I thought it was going to be another crate dragon. I'm like, we're going to go there again. But when it finally came up, it was like something completely different. And what the hell was that? And I thought it was pretty damn funny when they went back to the village with the head of that thing, and the kid claimed it was him. And they believed it. Everybody else in the village, except for the chief, believed the kid actually did that. The chief gave Boba like a water spud thing, whatever. So I wonder if this means he's accepted, right? Because like he knew. And of course, how cool was it to see Max Remo make an appearance again? It's nice to know that he actually survived the explosion at Jabba's sail barge, but where's the rest of his band, right? I mean, he had a whole band then. Did they all get out or just him? So, I don't know, man. I did like this episode. A little upset with the runtime, but it is what it is. So, did you see the first chapter of the Book of Boba Fett? Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think about this first chapter? Let me know in the comments down below. Was it everything you thought it would be? So, let me know what you think in the comments down below.